This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
We have a lot of magic moments here, so, which is really cool. And I guess that's why that's why we have an audience.
For more than 60 years, it has been the beating heart of Sarasota's live music scene, hosting musicians known the world over and bringing out audiences who think of it as a second home. But now, as the 5 o'clock club prepares to change owners, it faces an uncertain future. The question is, will the music that made it a local hub keep playing? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the 5 o'clock club coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin in Sarasota and the effort to bring new life and new business to an area that has been struggling for years, specifically the north end of Tamiami Trail. Benderson Development is building a Starbucks just south of the Ringling College campus, and another developer wants to build an apartment complex adjacent to the site. The head of the North Trail Redevelopment Partnership hopes the vote of confidence from Starbucks will entice other businesses to come to the area as well.
I want to tell others who are into the development community and the real estate business, look at the North Trail. Don't just pass it by. Who knows, you might be missing on an opportunity that you would say, I wish I would have done this a couple of years ago.
The city hasn't given approval just yet. Benderson Development must submit a revised plan that protects trees in the area in order to move forward. Florida's Department of Transportation is lowering the speed limit on a deadly stretch of road on Siesta Key. In the last 5 years, there have been 180 accidents on the 2-mile stretch of the road between Osprey Avenue and Shell Road. Following repeated complaints from residents, the speed limit is now being lowered from 40 miles an hour to 30.
We're hoping, while this is a great first step, that there are more steps to come, because we still have a ways to go, we feel. We have an ask list, and we're in the middle of a cordial conversation with the FDOT. They've been very responsive. We're grateful for that.
The change will go into effect in about 2 weeks once the speed limit signs are replaced. Drivers commuting between Lakewood Ranch and Parish will now soon have a faster way to get from here to there. According to Manatee County, the Fort Hamer Bridge will open on August 26th. Crews are setting the final beams and preparing to pour concrete for the decks. Work on the bridge has been underway for around 2 years. A follow-up on a Charlotte County car crash that killed 4 young men. It happened at the intersections of Rosemont Drive and Sunnybrook Boulevard early Sunday morning. Troopers say the men were between the ages of 20 and 25. They were driving around 3:30 in the morning when the driver ran a stop sign and hit an SUV. The car burst into flames, trapping the men inside. The family in the SUV walked away with minor injuries. The crash remains under investigation. Independence Day is tomorrow, and while fireworks sales are limited to relatively safe devices, a loophole in the state law could put people celebrating at risk. Each year, firefighters in Florida typically respond to more than 100 incidents related to the improper use of fireworks. Residents should only be able to buy sparklers and fountains, but a loophole for agricultural purposes allows you to buy airborne fireworks. The fire marshal's office says you should avoid buying them and enjoy public shows instead.
There are a number of great fireworks shows out there that counties and governments and different organizations put on, and we absolutely 100% recommend, if you want to see a great fireworks show, leave it up to the professionals.
If you are using fireworks, you are urged to stay away from small children, keep a fire extinguisher on hand, and not to try to relight any duds. And if you're heading to Anna Maria Island for the 4th, there are some rules law enforcement want you to keep in mind. Fireworks, grills, alcohol, glass, pets, and bikes are banned from the beach. First-time offenders will receive a $75 fine. Police say they are also beefing up patrols. There is also a noise ordinance in effect from 10 p.m. until 7 a.m. And an effort to keep Sarasota County beaches clean appears to be working. Piles of trash were left on Siesta and other beaches during the Memorial Day weekend. To prevent that from happening again, the county launched the Pack In and Pack Out campaign. Volunteers have been handing out trash bags over the weekend and will continue to do so for the next few days.
Going into the July 4th holiday, we will have the bag distribution going on again. We have extra dumpsters at all of our beach locations. We have staff and volunteers handing out bags.
You can volunteer to help clean up on Wednesday, July 5th. Crews will be assigned to an area of beaches from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Steve is in for Bob. And Bob, Steve, what kind of weather can we expect for the 4th?
It's going to be hot. It's the 4th of July. It's generally hot and pretty steamy tonight. I think you can cut the air with a machete tonight. It is so hot and humid. And the reason is we have a strong southeasterly flow coming in from the tropics right over all of the Sunshine State. It's triggered some fairly hefty thunderstorms, especially up in the heart of the state, up around Orlando, Lakeland. Those have now moved east. And one little cell is left down in the southern part of our viewing area that formed about warm mineral springs, and it's washing out right now as it goes down River Road toward Inglewood. Here is the RPM computer forecast, or a high-resolution rapid refresh futurecast. Has that system down by Inglewood. A little overblown, but you get an idea. Things clear out overnight with offshore winds, so it's going to stay warm all night long. Gradually warm, cooling off to the upper 70s overnight, as you can see in our temperature hour-by-hour forecast. 76 is optimistic. I think it's more probably going to be closer to 78 or 79 for the low temperature, with the lack of any outflow boundaries or any storms nearby. And the chance of precipitation very low, 10 to 20% during the overnight hours. We'll have more detailed forecast on our 4th of July forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
It is so humid out there.
It is really humid.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. And still to come, one last blues jam at the 5 o'clock club. The tradition comes to an end as the club's owner prepares to hand over the keys to someone else. We'll show you how it's impacting Sarasota's live music scene when we return.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with 1 telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Save big during the 4th of July clearance and pay no interest for 48 months with same-day pickup or next-day delivery. This special purchase double reclining sofa for only $4.99. This special purchase white Florida bedroom for $5.99 and the matching nightstand is free. This special purchase Serta Perfect Sleeper Queen set for $3.99. Exclusively at the Furniture Warehouse in Sarasota, Bradenton, Venice, Port Charlotte, and Ellington.
And save big.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5.
We just lost something important here on the Suncoast, a little piece of what makes this an incredible place to live and work. Kate Flexter is here to explain. Kate.
Thanks, Alan. Every Monday night for almost 20 years, the 5 o'clock club hosted a Monday night open mic jam session. Tonight is the first night without it, and the owner tells us it all goes back to a larger national trend.
In the light of day, you'd hardly know the 5 o'clock club is home to music. It's long, narrow, and quiet, better suited for a bowling alley.
Even though it's kind of boxy and it's long, it has an energy that is hard to explain, but you feel it when it's here.
The 5 o'clock club first opened in the era of poodle skirts, soda fountains, and jukeboxes. The year was 1955.
At 5 o'clock, they used to do 50-cent drinks back in the day. I don't think we'd do that. I don't think we'd afford that right now.
At the time, it was exclusively a blues bar. It wasn't until the 90s that a man named George Generoso bought it and decided to expand to reggae, rock and roll, and everything in between.
It wasn't going to make it just as a blues club because it just didn't have that kind of support in this town.
Since then, it's seen big names like Dickie Betts of the Allman Brothers, Andy Summers of the Police, and Buddy Miles, living through the fast-paced evolution of music from vinyls to CDs to iPods.
You can have a CD, you can have a vinyl, but feel it when it's being played is the best you can ever be.
None of it fazed the club's band of loyal followers.
Well, it's been my neighborhood bar for that long.
It's one of a kind in this town. There is no plan B.
For years, one of the major draws was the Monday Night Jam, a chance for musicians of all skill levels to play and improvise with each other in front of a live audience.
You know, it's like having a party, you know, with all your friends every Monday night.
A tradition first started by local musician Al Fuller.
We have a lot of magic moments here, so, which is really cool. And I guess that's why we have an audience.
But in recent years, they've seen that audience dwindle.
Sometimes it's busy for certain bands, but usually it's just not being supported enough.
Is that something that's local, or do you think it's a national trend?
I think it is a national thing. It's just that the younger people just aren't used to live music and don't give it the respect it deserves.
That's why after 20 years, Generoso is selling the 5 o'clock club.
It's been a love affair, and it's ended, so that always hurts.
In this case, he says all the cliches apply. The show must go on, and he feels confident that it will.
What do you hope to see happen for this place?
I'd like to see it going and be alive and have a place that has been in Sarasota for all these years to stay viable and ready to rock.
Ready to rock for whoever decides to take the stage.
Generoso didn't tell us who the new owner will be, but he did say they plan to keep live music going in some capacity at the 5 o'clock club.
Kate, thank you. And in a moment, a musician who performed regularly at the 5 o'clock club and a woman who has been campaigning to keep the music going. In a moment, the trapezoid.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community. ABC7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are. On our live stream, on our newly redesigned mysuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes at all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
Because my parents told me I have to be responsible.
Because my first coach told me, you can do this.
Because my boss showed me how to do a good job.
Because my teacher helped me see the choices.
I'm swimming faster than I ever dreamed.
I am a valuable employee.
I discovered that I could work as an artist.
I will be whatever I want to be.
Youth with disabilities should grow up expecting to work and succeed. For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Welcome back. For the first time in years, there will be no live Monday night jam session at Sarasota's 5 O'Clock Club. The legendary live music venue has been around since 1955. Its current owner, George Generoso, who you met in Kate's story, has owned the 5 O'Clock Club since 1996. In his 60s, Generoso says it's time for him to step back, but it is also true the appetite for places like the 5 O'Clock Club seem to be on the wane. Over the years, the likes of Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers Band, Brian Johnson from AC/DC, and Andy Summers from the Police jammed over countless nights to the delight of music lovers. The future is now uncertain. Live music might continue under new ownership, but not as frequently. And joining us for more is the musician and the music director, instructor Al Fuller, who was a regular at the 5 O'Clock Club jams, and Kate O'Connell, who is a leading petition effort to keep the music going at the 5 O'Clock Club. Thank you both for joining us. And now you are the creator of the Monday Night Jam, correct? Right?
Well, there actually was a jam at the 5 O'Clock Club, started back in probably about 1985 with a group called the Memphis Flyers. And the bass player from that jam actually ended up playing with me when I first started running the jam at the 5 O'Clock Club.
But have you basically tried to organize this over the years?
I just took it over. It was going when I took it over.
For those who are watching this right now who may not be familiar with what the jam is all about, could you try to explain it?
Well, we have a core band that would just it was just myself on guitar and a drummer. Rich McDonald was a drummer, and Bert Engelsman is my current bass player. And people would come and want to play with us, and we would either get them up to play with us, or if they were a drummer, then they would replace Rich on the drums, or if they were a bass player, they'd replace Bert on the bass. We had a keyboard set up, so we had keyboard players would come, and sax players and other singers. And
does it seem weird not to be there tonight?
I'm here, so I'm not sure. Maybe it'll seem weird, but as the night goes on, I know that it doesn't feel like it's stopped yet for me. I'm not sure when it's going to hit me.
Okay, we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but obviously George in Kate's story indicated that the crowds have kind of been slimming down over the years. How long have you been going there, and what have you noticed in terms of that over the years?
It's hard for me to say they're slimming down because I just am so involved in the music. It is so amazing what happens in these jams. The magic that comes when the musicians are free to really express themselves. They aren't bound by, I'm hired to do this song as everyone's heard it. I must end it in 3 minutes. What he puts together, how he blends the people that show up and puts the best foot forward of everyone who's there to play, it's magic. It's just magic. So I don't really pay that much attention to the crowd. Now, I noticed that the crowd is getting older. as I am getting older.
No.
But, and now I seem to be young in the crowd, but I'm not young. So, and I do feel that, I think the difference is because the crowd is an older crowd, we tend to go home sooner. Whereas a younger crowd will keep that going from 9 until 2 in the morning. An older crowd maybe starts peaking around 11.
Well,
so I think
Al,
it's thinner. It doesn't last long enough for a business to make a venue of it.
I mean, has that changed over the years? But, you know, years ago, I mean, were there more people there later into the night?
No, we used to start at 10 and go till 2, and at 2 o'clock the place would be jamming. Then little by little we went from 9 to 1, and the crowd would start thinning out at midnight. And then we moved it back from 8 to 12 finally, and the crowd would thin out around 11. But the crowd has gotten older. The people who like to come have gotten older, and not so many younger people.
Why do you think that is?
I guess they're just not as interested in live music. I think they've gotten inundated with, you know, all the different media, and I don't think that when we were younger, it was the thing to do. You know, that was the thing that was happening. Now,
even before we were of legal age to do so.
Right, right. But yeah, and nowadays there's so many different places to look for entertainment, whereas we had to go. You know, if we wanted to see some live music, we had to go down to go to a concert or go to a club where it was happening.
Kate, we have less than a minute left, but were you there for the last jam?
I was there for the last jam.
Was it emotional?
Packed. And the stars that came out were amazing. The people that have been there for so long, as I was going around talking to people to get signatures, I said, you know, so if you've been coming for a while, put down the number. 30 years, 25 years. It was just astounding, the loyalty, the backing there is for the Blues Jam.
Obviously, we are only getting started, and we will pick up this discussion right after we check the weather.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah, yeah.
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Moat's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Moat Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Moat Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
Our discussion of live music in Sarasota and the 5 o'clock club continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our forecast from meteorologist Steve Newman. Steve.
Alan, if you looked out over the Gulf of Mexico, you really didn't see much in the way of showers and thunder showers, but if you were looking in the exact opposite direction, a lot of thunder and lightning over a few spots. Most people didn't get any rain at all as the day went on, but clearly at Casey Key, it was a sunny day and a mild day with the sea breeze coming in. Always a little humid. Currently at the airport, it's 88 degrees, the humidity 65% with the dew point 75. It could be worse, but it does feel muggy out there tonight. Our high temperature and low temperature both were within about 1 degree of normal. It did seem unusually warm for this date, but I guess that's what you get around the 4th of July. Across the state, those interior storms have cooled things off. That's what the yellow is, rain cooling. Orlando only 75. It cooled up to 75 at Daytona 2 hours ago, but they've warmed back up to 83. And across our viewing area, temperatures ranging pretty much in the upper 80s, but factor in the humidity. It feels like it's over 100 degrees, and the Keys, inland at Northport, even Mayaca City, 97. That doesn't show any sign of easing up for the next couple of hours. It's probably going to be warm all night long. And here are the thunderstorms that are washing out an eastern part of the state, but they did rumble right over through the heart of Florida. And we had one little straggler that formed around Northport, and it's washing out along River Road right about Inglewood. At this hour, it's moving offshore, and it should be gone. That should be it for tonight. Now, if we look at our tropical weather outlook, we have an easterly wave, 70% chance of developing, but it's well over a week away from causing any threat to the United States or North American period. We do have a Caribbean that remains quiet. That's good news. And we have a Gulf of Mexico where the summer heat and sunshine is warming it up. Temperatures already in the mid-80s, and that will be the fuel necessary to fuel any storms that come our way later on. But out here where we have that developing system in the Atlantic, minimal amount of heat, but other than that, there are favorable conditions for the system developing over the next 5 days. And here's the future cast of wind and pressure showing it possibly developing into a tropical depression by Friday, Saturday. Each model run is either north or south. So this is way out there. I'm just letting you know there's something happening in the Atlantic we're keeping an eye on. And here's our future cast showing afternoon, evening showers and thunder showers right on through tomorrow. About fireworks time tomorrow, I don't think we're going to see much in the way of showers, but there's a 30% chance that we can see them right across our viewing area. Beach and boating, winds north 10 knots, seas 2 feet or less, being inland waters a light chop. It's going to be warm in the water, it's going to be warm in the air, and here's your 4th of July forecast. During the afternoon, temperatures warming up into the upper 80s. By 2 in the afternoon, it'll be 87 degrees with mostly sunny. Partly sunny by 6, and in fireworks time, it's still going to be hot, 97. Dress appropriately with only a 30% chance of showers. And here's your 7-day outlook showing the chance of showers increases as we move through the week. But it looks like we're going to luck out with only a 30% chance tomorrow. Alan will be back with his guest in just a couple of minutes.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the sale of the 5 O'Clock Club and how it could impact the live music scene in Sarasota. Our guests tonight are musician and instructor Al Fuller and Kate O'Connell, who is leading a petition drive to preserve live music at the 5-0. Al, tell me a little bit about the history of the Monday Night Jam, how long you've been involved with it, and what it's been like.
Well, I was asked first to start doing the jam. There was a guy, we called him House Cat Hunsinger. His name was Dale Hunsinger. And he owned the 5 O'Clock Club when I first moved to town, which was about '95. And I ran the jam there for a little while, and then a guy named Howlin' Bob Fieberts took it over. And George Generoso called me back with, I had a Gwen Folk, we call her Queenie, and she, with my band, we did it for a year. Then Howlin' Bob did it again, and then I did it for the last 18 years. But the jam really started back in 1985 with a band called the Memphis Flyers, and they did it for a long time until Howlin' Bob took it over. I think he said he did it for 15 years or something. He did it for a long time.
How difficult is it to keep this up week to week in terms of getting new blood in there and you know, the different parts that really kind of make it all up?
Well, you know, I'd show up there every Monday night and you never knew who was going to come, which was the interesting part of it. You know, and the advertising was out there that that there was a jam, and we had a lot of same people come all the time, and we have some very good musicians in Sarasota. So it was different than other jams that I've been to, in that I tried to keep the quality of the music as high as possible. A lot of jams, they just take whoever's there and throw them on stage together and hope they can make music. I would always keep a strong bass player if I had a weak drummer, or like, you know, vice versa. And I would always try to keep some strong players on the stage so that the audience was getting a good show.
Have you been amazed over the years in terms of the famous performers that have come in to not only to watch, but also to jam themselves?
Yeah, I've had some great ones. There was Donald Duck Dunn from the Blues Brothers, and Brian Johnson from AC/DC got up and sang with us. And my favorite was Freddie Cole, Nat King Cole's brother.
Right.
Came in and played keyboard with us and sang
You'd be
some songs.
shocked or something, like all of a sudden you look up and you know, somebody that you recognize is right next to you?
Yeah, they'd come in and we'd ask them to come up and play with us. So
oh my gosh. Kate, tell us a little bit about your petition effort. When did it start, and what is the goal, and how is it coming along?
Well, it started just 2 Monday nights before the end, when I first found out what was happening. This is a magical thing, to allow the musicians to express themselves, the beauty that comes out of this, the talent that you get to see. It's just magical to see this happen. And I was hoping that the new owner was going to be heading in the same direction, and I wasn't sure about it, so I thought, you know, he ought to know what kind of backing this has. So really, the message of the petition is threefold. First and foremost is to let the new owner know just how much support there is for this blues jam, and what kind of people it draws, and that it can bring in famous names for him, as well as the fact that it packs the house with people who love the music, who wouldn't have found him otherwise. But the other two supports are that, secondly, to make it a thank you to Al for 18 years of bringing something so wonderful to our community that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
How many people have signed so far?
And I'm not certain, because I lost track of it on the last night. People were So I'll tell you that. So the third point, and this is the most important thing, is to express to the community that may not have ever made it there the depth and the wealth of musical talent that we have here. What would happen on those Monday nights was pure magic. The singers, oh my gosh. We have people there that, they could be on any recording, but what you asked was, so that's the threefold purpose of it. And how many signatures? So it started out, this is kind of cute. So I thought this should happen. I didn't have anything with me, so I went to the bartender, and all he could give me was a blank receipt. So I have a receipt that's about the size of my hand, and I started going, do you think the Blues should, and so it got 50 names on it, front, back, side, corners, and then somebody went out to their car and got me a pad, and we filled 5 sheets,
with the,
5 sheets
with
of
the
legal
legacy
pad.
of the 5 o'clock club here, and the fact that we have a very culture rich area here, all forms, from the opera to ballet and so forth, and we have A+ schools with great music programs. Why do you think younger people are not coming in to check this out?
I have an opinion.
Go ahead.
So when I was young, my mother would take me any live music she could find me to get me into. So if I was too young to get in, she would go someplace where they were playing at dinner, so that it was okay to bring your daughter to dinner. I heard beautiful musicians on Longboat at the piano bars. And then as I got older, she continued. She'd say, let's go to a concert. We went, I mean, my mom took me to a Nitty Gritty Dirt Band concert, which is where I met the man that Al Fuller plays with, who often is jamming in the band, who is a Grammy winner, I believe.
We have less than a minute left, but I also want to ask you the same question. Why is it, in your opinion, we have this jewel here that younger people have not come in the same way that your generation did?
They just, they don't seem to appreciate it for some reason. Well, I know when we were younger, that was the only thing you could do to get entertainment. You went to the outdoor movies, the drive-ins. You went, you could go, to a club and hear some music. Nowadays, you can turn on TV and get anything you want. You can hold it in your hand. You don't have to go far to get entertained.
Right.
I think that's probably why.
All right. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about Friday's topic, our analysis of the week in Washington. We have a big surprise, so stay with us.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 digital media services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 digital media services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. The 5 O'Clock Club has been the hub for Sarasota's live music scene. Now, with its switching owners, the future of what it will be is uncertain. Will this affect the ability of local musicians to play, and where would audiences go? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And the big announcement now is the jam will continue.
Yes.
Where?
At the Blue Rooster.
Tell me about it.
We're starting on the 2nd of August, and we're doing Wednesdays instead of Mondays, which is odd to me because Mondays have always been jam night for me, but that's what we're doing. So I'm expecting that to go really well. The owners of the Blue Rooster are excited to have us, and they'll promote it well. And
what's the difference in the kind of venue? Is there any difference in terms of what you think you could produce there?
Well, one of the things at the 5 O'Clock Club, one of the things we had going there was it was a smaller venue. It was intimate. And when we started out the night, it would be a little concert. Everyone would sit and listen to the music, and they would clap for solos. It was very special. It was like being in a little jazz club. I'm not sure if I can create that at the Blue Rooster. It's bigger. We'll see. You know, I'll try. But that's my only concern. I think it'll work at the Blue Rooster fine.
Kate, are you just going to follow Al and the others over to the Blue Rooster, or are you still trying to preserve the 5 O'Clock Club and everything that it meant?
Well, I'm hoping that the petition will convince them that there is good support for a live jam. Maybe there isn't support for music every single night of the week, because that didn't seem to be working before, but that a live jam is well supported, because that's where the real talent of musician gets to come out. And then the other thing is, yes, I will be going to the other venue. To me, the difference in the two venues is the 5 O'Clock Club had a large dance floor. And the kind of music that you hear, people can actually dance to.
We're going to create a big dance floor.
Oh, good. All right, everybody hear that, because there's a huge dance following for his music. There's a huge dance following, so I'll make sure we'll all show up.
Thank you both for joining us. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about Friday's topic. The week in Washington, Republican lawmakers failed to vote on their plan to repeal and replace Obamacare before their recess. On top of that, President Trump appeared to flip on his campaign promise to repeal and replace at the same time, saying Obamacare should be immediately repealed and then replaced at a later date. He also drew just a little bit of attention and by starting a Twitter fight with the hosts of Morning Joe on MSNBC. Here's what some of you are saying. Mary Benak writes, I'm a mom with a military son and I'm on disability. I say you wanted the job, you got the job, now grow up and do the job. Forget about Twitter. Myrna Kamens writes, disgraceful, disgusting, undignified, juvenile, I could go on. And Heidi Oros writes, just repealed this horrific health care plan, and the Twitter was hilarious. If you're a journalist and going to spend 6 months attacking him and Melania and his family, be prepared to get a little payback. Heidi, reporting and asking questions about what the president says, does, and tweets isn't attacking him, it's doing our job. What do you think about the sale of the 5 O'Clock Club and live music in Sarasota? Join the conversation by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/news7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to both our guests for being here tonight. Al Fuller is a musician and a teacher who is a regular part of the 5 O'Clock Club jams. And Kate O'Connell started the petition drive to keep the live music nights going at the 5-0. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather, plus a scary landing near the happiest place on Earth. Find out how this hot air balloon ended up in a pond near Disney World and what happened to the 17 people on board in our prime time headlines.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
If you want 24/7 access to ABC7's breaking news stories, weather forecasts, traffic alerts, health reports, Suncoast View, and more ABC7 programming, now there's good news. Introducing the free ABC7 channel on Amazon Fire TV, your 24/7 access to ABC7. Just search ABC7 on the streaming device and download the free ABC7 channel app. Or if you don't have an Amazon Fire TV, you can get one at Amazon.com.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better eater.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
I showed you the view looking east or over the Gulf of Mexico a little earlier on. This is looking inland, and there were plenty of showers and thunder showers, especially around Lakewood Ranch, up around Parrish earlier today. But most of that activity has died down as the sun is just about set over the Suncoast. Very humid, and these are dew point temperatures, the indication of how much moisture is in the air. And when it's in the 70s, it's like jungle tropical, and that's the way it feels out tonight. And across our viewing area, Longboat Key as high as 78, 76 at Venice, dew point at Arcadia, 76 degrees. And here are the thunderstorms that rumbled over the heart of Florida earlier today, now washing out over in Melbourne. We had one that almost hit the Sunshine Skyway, and another one formed near Northport about an hour ago, and it has been meandering over southern Sarasota County, right now washing out, dissipating off Manasota Key. And that's pretty much it. I think the moisture and the thunder showers are over for tonight. Well, across the nation, pretty much garden variety showers and thunder showers, nothing extraordinary, although there are 3 severe thunderstorm watches in effect where you might expect it across Tornado Alley. For us, we're under control of high pressure and temperatures pretty seasonal. 80 at Raleigh at this hour, 76 at New York City. There's your desert heat over 100, 75 at San Francisco, Seattle, 69. And here's our RPM computer forecast. Takes us right on through the next 48 hours, showing high pressure, keeping the sea breeze fronts happening and very scattered showers and thunder showers. Tomorrow has the least chance of the week, only 30% chance, and by fireworks time tomorrow, there could be a few around or there could not. We'll see what happens tomorrow, and then a little bit more coming up on Wednesday afternoon. Your beach and boating forecast. Be great to get out on that Gulf and away from the heat. West winds at 10 knots, seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters will have a light chop. And it's going to be hot as a firecracker at the beach. The water temperature 89, 88 in the air temperature, but it's going to feel warmer because of the humidity. And use sunscreen, the UV index will be 12. 30% chance of showers pretty much ending this evening, and then scattered thunder showers possible tomorrow with a high temperature of 91. And here's your 7-day outlook showing only 30% for the 4th of July, but then it pops back up for the rest of the week, more seasonal, anywhere between 50 and 60% chance of showers. Highs in the low 90s. Overnight lows will be around 75 or 76 degrees. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-759-0203, 800-759-0203.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
And we begin our primetime headlines coming up at Boston's Logan Airport, where at least 10 people have been taken to the hospital. After a taxi driver hit them. It happened this afternoon near Logan International Airport. It is unclear what happened, but there are reports that the driver lost control of the vehicle. The 57-year-old driver is cooperating with investigators. Now to the latest on a road rage incident in Pennsylvania. David Desper is facing first-degree murder charges after turning himself into police. This picture from a highway traffic camera shows him jockeying for position with the victim, 18-year-old Bianca Robertson. Police say road rage drove Desper to take out his .40 caliber handgun and shoot the recent high school graduate.
Somebody didn't want her to merge into a lane of traffic. And because of that, a young woman is dead today.
Police say this is not a hate crime. Desper is being held without bail. Robertson was days away from attending her college orientation. While President Trump is still facing a backlash over his recent use of social media, he is also gearing up for a busy week overseas. The president will head to Poland to deliver a speech before heading to the G20 summit in Germany. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest.
In the midst of controversy over some of his tweets being, quote, beneath the office, President Donald Trump will soon be back on the world stage representing the United States, making calls this morning to the leaders of France, Italy, and Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel. Chancellor Merkel, speaking at a joint news conference, was asked about the president's latest move sparking backlash. The video showing him body slamming a man with CNN's logo imposed over his face. In German, saying, quote, concerning the American President Donald Trump, I continue to be against violent demonstrations of any kind. Both leaders are preparing for the upcoming Group of 20 summit in Hamburg, Germany. While there, President Trump is set to meet face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin. As Russia's hacking of Democrats in the election continues to dominate news in Washington and has repeatedly been labeled a hoax by Trump, it remains to be seen what the two leaders will discuss.
I would say that if there's an opportunity, the president would recognize that we have an extremely low point relationship based on distrust right now.
The last time Trump met with Russian officials was the day after he fired former FBI Director James Comey. Captured in pictures from Russian media laughing in the Oval Office while the American press were kept out. Tom Bossert, the White House Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor.
He should also take opportunities to partner with them in ways that help us defeat ISIS and prevent the Syrians from using chemical weapons.
The president will deal with a number of issues during his trip, including European security, climate change, and trade deal, all while still battling the bipartisan backlash over his use of Twitter back here at home. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Speaking of those tweets, President Trump is sparking bipartisan backlash after tweeting a video of him body slamming a man with the CNN logo imposed over his face. Trump continues his anti-media tirade this morning, tweeting, "At some point, the fake news will be forced to discuss our great job numbers, strong economy, success with ISIS, the border, and so much else." Political analysts say these tweets distract from real issues.
Instead of talking about the fact that health care can't get through, that the tax reform isn't happening, and that the president is going off to this G20 summit where he is going to meet with Vladimir Putin. And what about Russia and Russia's influence on our election? We're not talking about those things. We're talking about the president's tweets.
Trump defended his use of social media, calling it modern-day presidential. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is also facing criticism after pictures showing him and his family on a beach closed to the public. Island Beach State Park is among the state beaches and parks shut down over the holiday weekend following a budget standoff between lawmakers and Governor Christie. But apparently, those closed signs do not apply to Christie.
Jesus Christ, he's going to go out with this kind of bang now? This is 4th of July holiday. We went through a rough winter. People want to enjoy themselves.
There's no one at Island Beach State Park. There are no lifeguards. There's no one to pick up the garbage. There's no one providing any services at Island Beach State Park.
Governor Christie is heading into his final 6 months in office. His approval ratings are around 15%. Here in Florida, Governor Rick Scott is set to resume executions after a hiatus of more than 17 months. Execution stopped after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Florida's death sentencing procedure unconstitutional. Under a new state law, juries must now unanimously support putting a defendant to death. Scott isn't wasting time rescheduling the execution of a murderer from Jacksonville for August. A Miami judge is ruling the state's new Stand Your Ground law unconstitutional. The law allows people who shoot and kill someone else to claim that they were acting in self-defense. Last month, Governor Rick Scott signed a new version of the law, putting the burden of proof on prosecutors instead of the defense. Now the state must prove a defendant was not at risk of death or great bodily harm. The Miami judge says the change should have been made by the Supreme Court and not lawmakers. The ruling is only effective in Miami-Dade County. Now to Orlando, where a hot air balloon landed in a pond near Walt Disney World this morning. Florida Highway Patrol says the pilot was trying to land in the field off the turnpike but ended up in the water. 17 people were on board at the time. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.